Hey everyone, my name is Dave Pluff. I'm going to be your instructor for Art 101 Introduction to Art. We have a really cool class. It is asynchronous, so we're not going to meet in person in a classroom nor on Zoom. It's kind of work at your own pace, but you are required to do a certain amount of material every single week. Those are laid out in the modules that you'll find on Canvas. I'll take you over there in just a moment. You'll also get an email from me every Friday at 1 o'clock, which tells you about the upcoming week and what needs to be completed. So it's pretty self-explanatory, but if you do have questions, again, office hours on Wednesday, you're more than welcome to stop in. You don't have to make an appointment or anything to come talk to me. You can drop me an email. I'll respond with the answer for you. And it's just really a great class because we get to kind of see how artists put together compositions of art and stuff like that. We'll learn about the formal elements and principles of design. And then we'll take a look at like the cool like mediums that artists use, painting, printmaking, photography. All those subjects will be covered in this class. So without any further ado, why don't we go over to the Canvas site? I'll show you how everything is laid out. All right, here we are on the Canvas dashboard. Now for my asynchronous classes, you're either going to be in section 2 or you're going to be in section 9. Both of these classes mirror one another, so we're going to jump into section 2 first. And that's where you're going to land is the home page. Whether you click home or syllabus, you'll end up on this page. And just a little intro into the class. What I like about this page, though, is once the class starts, any past emails are going to be up above the banner. And then if you need to know immediately when a project is due or anything like that, you can go below the banner and click right on to either the discussion or quiz or any upcoming project. This is another place where you'll have the due date and due time for you. So let's jump into the modules. Now, the very first module is always going to stay the same. That's the admin module. Here you're going to find the course syllabus, late policy, and lecture schedule. You definitely want to read through those as soon as possible. I also have a link to the textbook information. For supporting information, the GE Learning Goals, the Emergency Procedures Notice is important. It tells you what to do if you're ever on campus and there's an emergency. Information about me, and also just a little blurb about netiquette. Down beneath the CSUF information, we have our campus services and also the COVID-19 information. So after that, you're going to have the two modules. Modules always open in pairs. So you'll have module 1 and 2 open together, and then in a couple weeks, 3 and 4 will open together, 5 and 6 later on, and so on. So when you open up the modules, the very first module is generally going to have a project or a discussion board, and then the second module is going to have the quiz. So the quiz covers not only the material in Module 2, but also the material in Module 1. The quizzes themselves, I'm just going to pop into here real quick. Once again, it lets you know the material that's going to be on the quiz, but each quiz is 20 minutes and you have 20 questions. It's open book and all of that, but it is timed at 20 minutes. So please make sure that is complete. Everything does have a due time of 3 o'clock, and that is to keep you away from all the issues that Canvas has as we get closer and closer to that 11:59 p.m. mark. If you need to turn something in at 3:05 or 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, that's totally fine. Keep it as close to the 3 o'clock due time as possible. Let's zip down to Module 1, and the video that you're going to find that you're watching right now is found here. After that, we have our introduction to the modules. So the welcome up here just kind of relates what these 4 categories are. The summary is my action plan for the week. The lectures a list of things you need to watch or read through, the objectives, and then finally the assessments that are due on Sunday. So this week we have a discussion board, and we do have a journal entry, but you can't quite do the journal entry yet. So let's close module 2 for right now. So then we have the office hours, and my office hours, we meet every Wednesday at 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock. I'm available to you. You don't have to make an appointment or, sign up or anything like that. You can just pop on. Please let me know you're in my online class at Cal State Fullerton. All my schools go to this one link. So it just helps me out in terms of getting the correct answer back to you. So feel free to pop on there again every Wednesday, 3 to 7 o'clock. You'll also have a link in the emails that I send out every Friday. So this week we have a lecture on the roles of the artist. And so you're going to read all the syllabus material first and do that. And then the only other thing is this lecture. So it's about a 45-minute lecture on the roles of the artist. It's a really great introductory lecture, especially if you don't know really anything about art. It just kind of brings you into talking about this specific topic. Each of the lectures throughout the semester has a study guide. And the study guide points out the most important images, which you will see on the exam, and it also points out vocabulary. So in the case of roles of the artist, it's more of a topical lecture. So we're just going to have notes for the 4 roles of the artist, but you also have 4 images. And so each of these, correlates to one of the roles of the artist. So the first role of the artist is The Gates here by Christo, and so on. At the very bottom of the study guide, though, I wanted to point out there's a how to use the study guide. It's not anything that you're ever going to turn in. It's just like scratch paper, but the vocabulary is really important, as well as the images. And keep in mind, not everything can be captured by a study guide, but this will really help you when it comes time to take the quiz. Finally, there is a further exploration section, and this is just as important as the lecture. And when you watch these videos, I'll tell you kind of like which videos and such are the most important and which ones you can maybe even skip over. But this is material that can be tested on as well. And it's stuff I can't put into the lecture itself because of copyright or whatever. But we do have a couple readings that are very short. What is art appreciation? What is an artist? And then we also have some videos. Now, this video here is just a spoof for the spiral jetty, which is about an 8-10 second video. Not very long at all. But in the roles of the artist, we're going to learn about the spiral jetty. And we're also going to learn about Christo and the type of art that he creates. So both of these videos may be 7-8 minutes each. I'm going to jump down to the journals. Now, the journals are something we're going to do every week. They are a low-stakes project that lets you just generally practice things that we've learned in the modules. Now, let me give you the journal instructions first. So this can be anything from a reflection on the reading to more research, filling out a worksheet, writing exercises, art activities, things like that. Generally, for your writing, please type everything. Everything also should be double-spaced. Standard fonts are either 10-point or 12-point. And also, left justify. Don't center it to make it pretty or anything like that. Always left justify. And then our very first journal, and what you're going to do is you're going to keep these in a folder or individual documents. You can do a Google Doc, whichever way you want to complete these. They get turned in at the end of the semester. So in, I think, module, it would be 17. There's going to be a link to turn all of these in. And these are a pretty substantial part of the course. I think it's going to be 75 points once we're all done with everything. So they're worth about 5 points each. So for iconography, we're actually going to learn this in the language of art lecture, which is in module 2. So this is nothing that's due like by Sunday or anything like that, but you do want to keep up with these. So when you do watch the language of art lecture, you're going to come back to this and just kind of do the same exercise we did with the Arnolfini marriage. If you were in class, I would show this particular image of the Arnolfini portrait, and we're going to break it down through iconography. And the same type of thing is done here. There's a lot of icons throughout this image. There's a tremendous amount, whether it's the sun or the moon, the lightning, the temple, the flag, the smoke, you know, all the machine parts over here, the more natural world over here. There's so much here to discuss. So we kind of try to dissect the painting and come up with its meaning. And that's what iconography is. So we're going to learn a little bit more about that, once again, in the language of art lecture, which I'll go to in a moment. The only thing that you really need to do this week, besides going through and reading the syllabus, watching the lecture, is completing the discussion board. The discussion board is worth a total of 30 points. You get 25 for the original post, 5 points for then responding to another classmate. And what you're going to do is, in this one, just introduce yourself. Tell everyone your name, what you like to go by, what area of California or even the US or world you're from, where are you in your college career. Then I want you to post an image of your favorite artist's work. Now, I really would like you to keep with artists we're going to be discussing in this class in terms of producing paintings or sculpture or statuary, performance art, things like that. So musical artists really wouldn't fit into this category, at least for our class. And then please attach an image, come back and respond to another group member's post. Once again, the grading breakdown is here, the due dates are here, and a past student example, I'm actually going to use myself because I took this class way back in the 90s. I took it at a JC, and this is the way I would have responded. So I've got everything here. That's the image I chose. Uploading an image is really easy, and I do ask that you resize the image to make it just a little bit smaller. Normally it's 5 megabytes or 500 pixels on the longest side is the best way to do that. This one, just to give you an idea, that's 500 pixels across the top. But as far as posting goes, you just click the reply button. You can type right in there. And then for adding an image, I always go to a fresh line, click this icon here, upload image, drop it in there, and you're all set to go. It's really, really simple. Don't forget to click the reply button and you're all set to go. So let's get out of here. And that's basically module 1. So if you want to stop here and just go and do this work, you can come back to this video and I'll walk you through module 2. If you want to stick around and try to do just all the modules at once, get it out of the way so you have some free time, that's cool too. Always check early in the week as well with the modules when they open, so you can kind of like pace yourself as well. In fact, before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to the announcements. And this is the announcement I'm sending out this week. So you'll have like an email from me every Friday, 1 o'clock. And up here is basically the summary of the week. That's what we're going to do. Underneath is your responsibilities. I'll generally give you a time on how long it should take you to get through both the lecture and the further exploration material. Reminders of projects that are coming due. For this course, we also have the textbook and the art supplies. The art supplies are something we'll use to complete some of the journal entries. So just a padded drawing paper, 11 by 14 is preferable, and then colored pencils. And you can do a 6-pack, you can do a 12-pack of pencils. Either way is fine. But we will be using those in several of the projects over the course of the semester. And always down at the bottom, my email and a link to office hours. So once again, you'll get this every single Friday. 1 o'clock is when it's scheduled to go out. So Module 2. Module 2 has the same video up here. It has the introduction, which doesn't have the welcome up there. It just is right to the action plan of the week, the lectures, objectives, and then finally the assessments. My office hours, we have the language of art lecture, which gives you some vocabulary. We've got the study guide, and we've also got the further exploration section. Now, I had told you about the Arnolfini portrait from that first journal with Frida Kahlo. Same type of thing here is we were looking at the painting, breaking down all the elements within it, such as the chandelier with the single candle, the rosary, the Passions of Christ around the back. We've got a signature here, the clothes that they're wearing, everything here has a meaning. And so I break that down during the lecture. We've got this supporting video that will also do that. And then you're going to do that to the Frida Kahlo painting. After that, we've got Space and the Illusion of Space. Now, there's 3 major lectures throughout the first half of the class. There's space, there's color theory, and then there's line. And all 3 of those are really important. Those are the kind of the cornerstones of the formal elements. So this is a little bit longer lecture, a little bit more in depth, a little bit more terms than usual. The study guide, and then also here, the further exploration section. So the videos are pretty cool to watch. The Watchtowers, one of our local landmarks, deals with positive and negative space in the lecture. The Grover Near and Far basically deals with scale. When he's closer to us, that's, appears larger than objects farther away when he runs to the back of the screen. How linear perspective works is another good video. We can approach linear perspective through different viewpoints. This is just another viewpoint compared to how I walk you through it. And then a history of linear perspective. It's a great video. Quite honestly, it is more of an optional video. So if you run short on time, you can probably skip that. But again, every time you watch a video like this and you put in some more time, it just becomes a much more clearer topic. Perspective Made Easy. This is optional, but this is one of the landmark books on perspective. It is free. It's through Project Gutenberg. It came out in the 1950s, and it's still like the Bible on perspective. So if this is something you're into or you're into art, you may want to download that and just keep it. Or save the link. Our quiz. Quizzes are 20 points, 20 minutes, and all you have to do is click into it. Once you start, the timer starts. The timer, of course, is up here, counting down. All the questions are here. Once you answer a question like that, you'll see that there's a check mark letting you know it's complete. You click the next button. When you're done, the Submit Quiz button will highlight. If you accidentally click the Submit button, it lets you know you still have some unanswered questions. So, pretty easy. There's a few questions on the syllabus, lecture schedule, late policy, then roles of the artist, language of art, and space and the illusion of space. And it sounds like the gardeners are next door. So let me wrap this up real quickly with journal number 2. Again, journals are turned in at the very end of the semester. This one takes a little bit longer to do than most. It's going to be a walkthrough on how to create objects in linear perspective. So we start off with flat two-dimensional figures such as triangles, trapezoids, squares, rectangles, things like that. Stars are difficult. Circles are even more difficult. Stay away from those. And you're going to make these, as you can kind of see that's been done here, into a 3-dimensional scene. So you're going to just follow along all the steps of linear perspective. And there's actually a video that I made that will walk you through the process. Do not copy anything that you see throughout the semester. Always produce your own unique work. That's the only way we're able to learn. And everything does have to be hand-drawn. It cannot be done by computer. And this is going to be throughout the semester. So keep that in mind. And I think that is everything. Once again, if you have questions, comments, concerns, please join me on office hours or please send me an email. I do answer emails Monday through Friday. 24 to 48 hours it takes for me to get back sometimes, especially at the beginning of the semester. I get a lot of email. But if you don't hear back from me, please email me again, or again, stop by my office hours. That's usually the easiest in terms of answering your questions. So I will see you all in a couple weeks with the next 2 modules, modules 3 and 4.